Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Your Path to UiPath. In the previous video, we already discussed how to download a UiPath Community Edition, and in this video, how we can install on your machine. So, hope everyone installed the UiPath Studio on your machines successfully. So, let's get started with how we can install on your machines. So to install, you just need to double click on the application you have downloaded. So once you have double clicked, so you can see the window on the screen now. So it's a let's activate window will appear on the screen. You just need to click on community edition. So in the community edition, it's a free license, so you need not to require any license keys. If you want to add a license key afterwards, if you want to get an enterprise edition, then you need to add a license key. So we just skip now that one and just click on the community edition. So once you click on the community edition, so the next screen will appear the UiPath Studio or UiPath Studio X preview. So as have already explained before, discussed earlier, there are two types of studios if you download a community edition. So one is Studio and another one is Studio X. So to just for a developers, it is recommended UiPath Studio to be checked or selected. So just go on with the UiPath Studio, and the next thing is update your channel. So this is also we discussed earlier. Is it a preview version you are looking for or a stable version? So as I recommend preview version, so which have all the latest updates, will get monthly preview updates, will be installed whenever you open the UiPath Studio. If you select the stable version, you get the preview updates just per year. Okay, so just go with the preview, and that's it. Now you can start your first automation. So once you've done all these settings, so now the UiPath Studio looks like this. So this is called the UI interface for the automation tool. So it's a UiPath Studio Pro Community Edition. Okay, so in order to go through it, so before going to inside the process, if you see what is these different tabs here, and we need to know all these things, right? So what are the main things that we have to using to create a projects? So if you see there are different types of templates, and also if you want to create a project, so here the first thing, the basic project, if you want to create, you just need to click on process. Okay, and the library is advanced, then we can go in the future videos, we'll discuss how the libraries can be used. And test automation, so we can start with a blank project to create a new test project. It looks like a similar to the project. There are three kind of projects that you can create. So it's a library project, so you can use this as a component. If you want to use the same project in our any another project, they can use a library, so which can be used in a future videos, means in future projects that you are creating for. So if you want to start with a new automation process, then you just click on the new project under the process. Okay, so this is the process if you want to create a project here. And the next thing, if you see on the left hand side, if there is already open, if you all have a project already built in, then you can just navigate or you can explore to that project, and you can just open that file here. Okay, and you can close this window for close option here. Just this is called a start menu, start window here. These are all the start window, and this is the team. So this is an advanced topic again. If you want to deploy your project into another GitHub or anything like that, so here we are going to use TFS. Okay, and the next thing is tools. So it's mandatory, so please remember these tools. So if you are working with the Chrome automation or Firefox, if you are using different kinds of web browsers or different applications like Java, Citrix, so you need to download these extensions. Okay, and we'll see it later videos. So but keep remember these extensions tab here. So this is the tools menu. And this is the settings. So there are different kinds of settings here. General, which language you are working. If you want a dark theme, so you can also get the dark theme here. So it will automatically change to dark theme here. So by default it will be light, and that's the, if you want to reset all the settings. So that's for, it's not even not a very important thing here to create a project, but it's good thing to know what happening in the settings tab. Okay, the design. So these are all the, once you get through the project how you are creating, and once you running the project, and you will get know all the things is one. Okay, and locations is nothing but where your project is going to be saved. So right now it's always under the users and your username and the documents and UiPath. So this is also a main thing to keep remember. So where if you want to change it, you can change. Okay, and manage sources. So if you, these are all the sources that UiPath. Let's say if there is any previews coming up. So if you have a preview version, so all the new features that can be downloaded from local official connect. So make sure you connect all this, select all this, and you will get all the updates. So it's you, if you want to view a Reddit license, you can see here, and source control plugins. And these are all the source control plugins if you want to publish your project into here. Okay. And this is a new thing they are added in a UiPath in this Studio Pro. So this is a new, even I am not a clear picture, so I will have to go through this one. So these are all the tabs. These are all the different kinds of menus here. Open menu if you want to open a new project, close if you want to close this window, start menu, this is a start menu will look like start page, team page, this is a team pages, tool pages. So in the tool you need to remember Chrome and Firefox. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get create a new project. Okay, if you want to create a project, just click on a home and just go to start menu and just create a process. So my first, to understand the preview means the overview of the tool, you need to create a project, then only you can get to know how it looks like. So I'm just creating a project, my first project. If you want to give a description, you can give a description, and if you want to change the path also, you can change the path from there. So it will restore dependencies. Then we'll discuss more deeply what are the dependencies and how the workspace looks like. So it's creating a workspace for the for the project. So now if you see on the top side of the screen, middle, if you see, this is my project name. My first project is my project name. Okay, so this is how it looks like. This is your workspace, the complete workspace. Okay, you have properties, and these are all the panels that we'll discuss step by step now. So this is the UiPath Studio Community Edition. If you just click on this open main workflow, you can directly navigate to the main page. If you want to certain uh, another XAML files, you can just go to files here. Okay, so now we just, because this is our first project, so just click on the open main workflow, and now just have a what I opened here. Once you clicked on the main workflow, so this the middle one is called as designer panel, entire where you can drag and drop the activities here. Okay, this tool, UiPath tool, is nothing but a drag and drop tool. Okay, in the automation, what we are doing a process. So if you want to automate a process, to click on this start menu and just select calculator. So these are all the activities that we are calling as. So right now, just we'll do that later. So now we have to understand what actually, from where you can drag and drop the activities. What is this project panel? What is this activities panel? Snippets. So we'll discuss one by one in this video. Okay. So next thing, So we already discussed this called a designer panel. Okay, so where we can drag and drop the activities into this designer panel. So what are the activities? If you see, this is a drop act. It is already saying drop activity here. So you just click on the plus icon. So you can already choose. So these are all the activities that we already have. You can search for the activity here, and it will automatically brings into a designer panel. So let's say if I just there is a click activity. So if I just click on this, it will automatically comes here. Okay, this is how it will come. So we have more than 400 plus activities in this activities panel. So anything you can search for. If you want to click, it will be here, click activity. There are different types of clicks available in this. Okay, you can choose what you are clicking on. You are mouse click, or you want to click on an image with OCR. It's OCR stands for optical character recognition. Okay, if you are working with a SAP application, if you want to click on a picture, so there are so many activities related to click. Not only a click, if you want to type something on a browser. So let me check for type into. It's a normal simple English that you are looking for. So type into, there is two different types of type into activities. So it's computer vision, and mostly we use the type into keyboard activity. So if you just drag and drop the type into activity here, so you have to indicate it on screen where you want to type this particular string. Hello. Okay, so this one where you want to type it. So you have to indicate on screen. So where you want to, let's say you have to you want to type in a Google Chrome, then you have to open the Google Chrome and type. Okay, so for now we'll discuss it later. So you have get an idea what is an activities panel. So this is called the activities panel. If you want to make it as a pin to this, you can just mark it as pin, so it will be stay here. Okay, now once we discussed with the activities, which is most important to learn what is the properties panel. If you see, don't be panicked if it is not appear here. So it will appear on your right hand side like this window. So you just need to make it, you just need to click on this to make it visible and just pin it. Okay, so now if you see, there are different activities, so many activities here in activities panel. So you just drag and drop whatever the activity is required to automate a process. Okay, so then if you just see, if I didn't click anything, so if you see, there is no highlighted, nothing is selected in my designer panel. So if it is not selected anything, if you see, there is no properties here. So the main only it is showing. But every activity inside this activities panel have a properties. So that is nothing but a properties panel. If you just select, so now the sequence, this is another activity. So for this sequence, these are all the properties it has. It has only this display name. So now if you see the type into, so type into has so many properties here. So if you see the properties here, continue on error. It means, let's say if there is any exception or it is unable to identify the screen and it is not able to type hello, then you just need to select the continue on error, mark it as a true. Then what it will do, it just skip this activity and it will go to the click activity. So it doesn't stop at this type at this point. So if even the exception rises, it doesn't stop and it will move on to the next process. Okay, our automation doesn't stop. So that is the property continue on error. So if you mouse over on it, it will show you what exactly the property is about to do. Specifies to continue executing the remaining activities even if the current activity is failed. Okay, only boolean values true or false are supported. So this is the reason for the continue. This is the reason for the continue on error. Delay after, delay before. It's like a really self-explanatory even by seeing these properties. And if you see the target, there are the one main thing is a selector is the main thing. It's a really a good topic that we can in a future videos will discuss. Clipping region, these are all the time you can, if you mouse over you will, and you can read it and you can easily understand. Okay, wait for ready text, what text that you want to type. Hello. Okay, like this. So activate, it will, by default it is already checked. Alert if I disable, depending on the requirement you have, you can check these options. So the main things that we need to consider and do remember here: the continue on error property, delay after, delay before. So if you just delay time, it's always in a milliseconds. So make sure you have to give in a milliseconds format, just 3000 for 3 seconds. Okay, like that, 300 milliseconds. So next thing is the important properties here, empty field. So if I check this empty field, it will automatically removes whatever, if there is already a text. Let's say if I show you a text here, so if I did show a text which is already, if it is if there is a text here, it will automatically removes, make it clear. That is for the empty field option. Okay, so now you understand for every activity there is a properties panel. So make sure you check whatever the required properties from the properties panel. So the next thing, so once we got the properties panel is done, and also we have done with the activities, the next main thing that we need to understand and know is a project panel. This is called a project panel. So in this project panel, the main thing, so if you see, it is a tree hierarchy. So if you just expand this, you will see the hierarchy here. So from the top, if you see, this is called a my first project. So you come with the, if this is the project name, it will appear here. And this project is dependent on these kind of, there are different types of dependencies for this project. So it is, if you want to remove it, you can right click on it and just remove the dependency. If you want to install a new dependencies, there is manage packages. Okay, you can type, if you, let's say there is mail activities, you want a PDF, you want a PDF activities to be installed in our project. So you just type PDF. If you type PDF, there is a package is available, and you just select and install. Once you install, you just click on save. So now it is restoring dependencies, which this package gonna add in your dependencies for your project called my first project. So if you are dealing, if you are automating a PDF process, then you need a PDF dependency, PDF package. So how you can check it is installed in your PDF package and dependencies is, this is called UiPath PDF activities. So all the activities under this package, you can check again activities. So now I'm able to see all the activities relating to the PDF. So these are all the activities that I can use in my project. So the project dependencies, hope you understand now. I will explain again. So the dependencies here, what you can see, by default you will get 4 dependencies: Excel, Outlook, system activities, and UI automations. If you want another dependency you want to install, you have to go to manage packages. This is called a design ribbon. Under the design ribbon you can search for, you can look for the manage packages, and you have to click all packages and search for PDF. Then you can install, you can install the package and save it. Okay, so hope you understand these dependencies now. Now the objects, so you can see by default you will see all the objects here, and the objects folder and settings folder, debug, these are all the settings. By the debug you can see releases, what are the different kind of releases here. And now not to more, the main thing here, it's a main.xaml file. So whenever you create a UiPath project, it will create main.xaml files. Okay, it will now if you want to add, so this is the main XAML file. If you want to add another XAML files, if you want to create another process inside this, so why I'm saying this, so if you have a project to just down means log into your Gmail account. Okay, first what you have to do, open web browser, which is one process. So next is log into your Gmail account. This is, you have to give, this is another process, another sub process. So what you have to do, you have to create a sequence or flowchart. We'll discuss what is a sequence and flowchart in next tutorials. So here you just need to create login sequence. So here, this is how we create a project. This is a login sequence. So now I have created login sequence. So again, I have to create a logouts, and also I need a logout sequence. I need to, what I'm doing, I'm just breaking my project into pieces. So logout sequence. So this is how, if you see, there are login sequence, logout sequence. These are nothing but XAML files. So where you can see these XAML files, this is under your project panel. See, it is already created XAML file. So login sequence and logout. Okay. So you can see whenever you trying to add a new subsequence into your project, it will automatically shows you in a project folder. Okay, and now coming to the project.json. So project.json is nothing but your configurations of your studio. Okay, the project configurations under this UiPath Studio. So let's see what is in the project.json. So open the file by right clicking on it and just maximize to make it visible more. So if you see your name of the project is my first project, description is nothing, we didn't give any description, and this is the main.xaml. This is the one it's created first. UiPath, these are all the dependencies. See, it will automatically add it there. Whenever you adding the dependencies, it will automatically generate here in configuration JSON file. So these are all the it will show, if you want to main details, what is the versions that you are using, what are the web service you are using. It will show all the options here. Okay, this is here it will contain a configuration file. So project.json is nothing but a configuration file. So hope this is how, if you want to go to your root folder, so if you just click on the file explorer, just click on it, it will take you through your project folder. This is nothing but a root folder, so which will have a local folder, object settings, all the XAML files, subsequence, subprocess of your project, and project.json file. So there is one hidden folder. If you want to view that folder, you just mark as hidden items. Needs to give, okay, that's fine. So these are all the options we have in the project folder. How you can see directly, you can go through your root folder here, and this is the project settings. So these are all the project settings you have. If you want to change the name, you can change the project name here, and just if you want to disable pass, if you want to give anything here, just mostly we didn't use it. So remove unused screenshots, it will automatically, so whenever you have a screenshot, then it will automatically create a folder. That is what I want to show you guys. So let me go to this. So indicate on screen, let's say F2. I just want to type into something here. So it's not, just want to type here, just for example. I'm just selecting that element here. So there is a screenshot is captured. If I go to my project folder, now if you see, there is a folder created just now 3:15 p.m. So this is the screenshot is saved. Whenever you capturing, or if you want to selecting an element on the UI, means any web browser or also a Windows application, any application you want to capture, then it will automatically saves a screenshot. Okay, when it is saved a screenshot, it will save it here in a folder called screenshots. And if you don't want it, if you just remove unused screenshots. Okay, so let's delete this activity, then you can one unused screenshot have been successfully removed. Okay, now you understood this. If you want to refresh, it will, if you add any files in your project, it will automatically, if you just need to click on refresh, show all files, it will expand all thing. Okay, so just take some time and just explore more if you want to get into it. Okay, so now we have discussed activities, project panel, and properties panel. Okay, now we are going to do with the snippets. So snippets is nothing but a reusable codes. So in the snippets panel we have a reusable codes. So commonly we use, you can save the snippets into samples. So these are all the counter example. You just need to drag and drop. See, counter example, it's already created, so it will automatically shows here. So it's a snippets, what we can call as reusable components that we can save in this panel. Okay, and if you want to use some delays, you can use delay 1 second or delay 2 seconds. You can use it from here. And there is another thing, delay activity. You can find a delay activity inside the activities panel too. So you just need to click delay. So here, if I just drag and drop delay, you have to choose the time, how much, how long you want to be. So it needs to be like in this format, 00 colon 00 colon, let's say I'm saying 3 seconds, 03. This is how this format you have to use from the activities if you are using. So snippets, um, you can use the delays, you can use from activities too. If you just want to drag and drop, you can also use a drag and drop activity here. So mostly the snippets contains reusable codes. You want to add, you can also from add folder. If you, let's say RPA training is a snippet, I want to select that folder, it will automatically comes here. So snippets, we done with the snippets. Now we just go with the outline panel. So in the outline panel, what actually, it is a hierarchy of your project. So if you see the project, so in the main it is having only a sequence. So in this sequence we have three actions. So let's say we have a complex project, very huge, means more activities inside this sequence to navigate. So to scroll down it will take more time. Okay, so instead of that, what you can do, you just go to outline activity. I'm just marking it as pin, and if I just expand this, so you can see all the activities here. Delay, so there are three activities or actions we have. Delay, you can just, if you select here, it will automatically take to you to that particular activity. So this is how use outline activity. Now its outline is nothing but a hierarchy of your project, all the actions that we have in the main activity. From the main it will show you, it doesn't show the sub process, it will show only the process you have from the main. Okay, so this is how the outline panel looks like. And now we have a, this called a home ribbon. If you just, there are three types of ribbons here. That is a home on the top side. If you see home ribbon, okay, home ribbon will navigate to a start page, or just go back. And design ribbon, so design ribbon, if you see, there are so many menus here. So these menus, if you want to create a new sub process, you just click on new process. These are all the options we have. Sequence as a sub process, by using a flowchart, state machine, global handle, like this. Okay, and now you want to save your project. These are all the options. Save as template, if you want to this as a template, you can also save it as a template. Okay, right now you just leave it. So if you want to run the project, just you click on the run. let's say you want to run the login sequence, you just click on this run file. You just want to run this file, then you can run file. So this is called a design ribbon. So we'll go step by step everything in the next picture. So this is a interaction how uh, this studio, once you downloaded a studio and install, how it looks like. It's like an overview of the application UiPath, the tool. So this is the design ribbon we call, and this is a debug ribbon. So if you want to step by step, if you want to go your project step by step, let's say how we can check. So first it will take a delay and you can check what as the process is going to step by step or not. Okay, this is a design debug this is called a debug ribbon, and under this these are all the menu options we have. Debug file, you can, it will start from the main menu. If you want to run file, you just go to login sequence and you can just debug. It will only debug this file. Okay, and even if you can step into directly, you need not to click on the debug file or debug run. Okay, you just click on step into, step over, step out. Okay, like this. So while you create a project, once you go inside deeply, then you can understand more of this step into and step over. So far we're just done with the main panels that we are. There is a one more panel that would like to discuss now. So the project, activities, snippets, and properties and outline. These are all the panels that we can see when you are designing, okay, when you are implementing your automation flow. But when you debug the flow, there are so many panels that will show, means that will come up. Okay, just let's say if I go to main and if I just click on step into, so this is the debug mode, right? So now if you see locals, there are locals panel, watch panel, immediate panel. Okay, there are so many panels that we need to go through step by step while once we create a simple project. Okay, that we can see to in the next video, that will come up with one small project that we can go with all these panels. Okay, so locals, if you see in the locals display, so this is a sequence. It will select this, it will highlight and what is the ID here and everything it will show. And this, if you see the output panel, your execution started. Okay, you can stop the execution. Okay, this is the output panel, error list panel, find references, breakpoints. Okay, if you put any breakpoints, let's say if I just select and just breakpoint, it will show the breakpoints in your project. So it will look into your entire project. Wherever the breakpoints are there, it will show you. You can directly double click and it will take you through that activity straight away. So the next thing, the one last thing that we can need to discuss is variables panel. So how we can create a variables? So we can create from the variables panel, or we can create from the activities. Okay, let me type into activity. Take the drag and drop the type into activity. From the properties panel, you can create an variable. So just you can just press Ctrl K from the text property. Now you can choose variable 1. So I've just created variable 1. If you see, it will automatically creates from the variables panel. Okay, so here in the variables panel, I need to discuss these: name, variable type, scope, and default. Okay, so just get what is the name. So we have to give a descriptive names. So let's say why you are using that variable. Okay, so for that, the naming, so the naming convention should be camel case. So you just need to give a proper, let's say, username. You have to be more descriptive what you are using. So now the another developer who are working on this project, it will be easy to understand. So if you want to give any annotations here, you can also give. So why it is not, yeah, here you can add annotation. So username for login. Okay, so it will show here. Okay. And then I second up message box. So variable type. So we'll discuss more in detail regarding the variable types. So we have a different kinds of variables. Data types we have that we are going to use in UiPath. Mostly it's a .NET. Also we can browse for the .NET data types. So currently by default, if you just click on this variable type, we have a int32, string, object, data tables. We'll go step by step everything to look into. So this we have to select what kind of data table or data type it is. Now the scope. The scope is nothing but sequence. So if you see the root means how can I explain is, so this is the scope. So inside this sequence I'm creating a variable called username. So this variable can be used entire this sequence. Okay, so let me take another sequence. Sequence is also an activity. So just drag and drop, and I drag the type into this sequence. I just let's say I just want to change type into sequence. So I'm naming as a type into sequence for this. So if you see, now I change the scope for this variable only into this type into sequence. So this variable can be only used inside this type into sequence. It cannot be used outside of this variable, outside of this particular sequence. So for the purpose of using anywhere in this particular main sequence, in this process, in this then you have to increase the scope up to a top sequence. This is the last. Okay, let me more clear. You can use it as just double click, or you can also change from the properties. You can just type here top sequence. So for that reason, so I just need to click on the type into sequence, and then the variables will appear. What variables that I am going to use inside this. So if you want to use outside of this type into sequence, then you just need to select top sequence. Then I can use anywhere I want. I wish. Okay. This is how we create a variables, and which is also this is called an arguments panel. Here we can create arguments. So the main difference between a variable and arguments. So variables you can only use inside this main sequence. You cannot use this username inside this login sequence. So that is the purpose. If you want to use this username, this variable, if you want to use it in a login sequence where you have to create an argument, okay, and you can call this login sequence. How you can call all this another login sequence into main, that we can discuss in our project, okay, the next video. So just the main basic definition, variables can be only used within the login sequence. Let's say this is the login sequence. The variable sequence can be only used within this process. It cannot be used outside of your project, okay. But arguments can be used overall your project. It can be used in main, it can be used in logout. Anywhere you can use the arguments. So how we are going to use that we'll discuss later. So hope you understand the variables panel and arguments, how we can going to use, okay. So that's all for this video. Please do comment for any doubts or any explanation that you need more about, and thank you so much for watching. Have a good day and happy automation.